You think this will be the one fight out of every fight he's been in? He's been dropped by Poirier, dropped by Gaethje, dropped by Chandler, dropped by Islam. You think this will be the fight where he takes a good clean
This is the fight where he claims his throne back, gets the belt back.
I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing that. We could argue that afterwards. I'm arguing, will Oliveira take a punch to the face and not end up on the ground?
Yes.
Why do you think that when he's never proven to do that?
Because every so often when he comes back and wins the belt, he changes. He changes, man. He's a different breed now. You think with age, after taking all those punches, his chin has gotten better? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Hardcore and the Casual podcast. I'm your host, Justin, and on today's episode, I am joined, as always, by Elijah. What's going on, Elijah? Woohoo! What's up, Justin? How you doing?
Just sitting here as a champion, as always, retained my title again. Got 5 out of the 6 right on last week's card for Khalil Roundtree versus Jamal Hill. How does it feel to be a loser for another week?
That card really broke my heart.
Yeah,
that card really broke my heart.
There were some high points, there were some low points, but just a few things I want to talk about. One, that Battle for the Bank briefcase. We are going to be recording sometime this week. I'm going to start recording, so you got a limited amount of time left. Granted, you have until I edit and release the episode of Battle for the Bank, so it's going to be a while, maybe like half a month or so. But that's only like 2-3 weeks, so you got a little bit of time left to cash in, so you better start making moves with that thing.
Yeah.
All right? Yeah. Second, I wanted to mention that no one commented on our last episode of the podcast, so we have no one to shout out for this episode. Once again, every week, if someone comments, the top comment on each podcast will be read out, your name, the comment, and we will discuss your comment live on air. So please give us a comment, anything you want to talk about. We will read it and your name on next week's episode, so please do that. If we don't get any comments on this one, then we'll probably take a comment from our live reaction, which is the next thing I wanted to talk about. We are going to be doing another live reaction for Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira this Saturday. Of course, you're welcome to come. Sometimes Elijah doesn't make it to these things, but if you have the time, pull up. We're going to be doing another live reaction. Expect that on the channel probably Sunday. I'm also going to be recording for Night of Champions for the WWE. So I'll see how editing works. I'm probably going to edit the UFC one first because that's usually a little easier to edit. So that one will probably be out first. It'll probably be out Sunday morning, maybe Sunday afternoon. So go check that out. Other than that, I think I want to start with a category with you today, Elijah. We're going to start with one of our shorts that we like to post. This is the long form version of the shorts. So we're going to start with that. Then we are going to move into our review of Jamal Hill versus Khalil Roundtree. Then we are going to do our predictions for Oliveira versus Topuria. And then I got one more category for you at the end of the day. Those are going to be fun. Let's jump right into it. For our category that I want you to do, you are going to blind rank these 5 fighters from 1 to 5. All right?
Yes.
All right. Brian Ortega.
3.
3. Triple C.
2.
2. All right. Paulo Costa.
5.
Oh, man. I thought you were going to go 1. I was really hoping you were going to go 1. So you've got 3 filled. What did you put Triple C at?
2.
2. And then Paulo Costa at 5. Okay. You've got Islam Makhachev.
4.
4?
4.
You have 1 open and you didn't put him at 1?
Yeah, I saved the best for last.
Conor McGregor.
Yes.
God
1.
damn it.
Yes.
Why would you put Conor at 1?
Dude, okay. He's not obviously the UFC GOAT, but in terms of like making the UFC, he's the GOAT. Like he's the GOAT. Like he's your casual GOAT.
Yeah, he is your casual GOAT because you are a casual.
No. Like my GOAT. You know my GOAT. You know my GOAT.
Colby Covington, John Jones.
Dude.
Those two probably.
Dude, you know.
Who?
Think deeper.
I don't know. Those are the only 2 guys. Alex Pereira. No?
Dominic Reyes.
Okay.
And Anthony Smith.
I was going to say, like, you only talk about 3 guys on the podcast all the time. It's like Colby Covington, John Jones, and Alex Pereira. So, but Dominic Reyes, too.
Yeah.
Dominic Reyes beat John Jones in that fight.
No, he didn't.
He did.
He didn't.
Well, how do you say so?
We got to watch that fight.
We got to bring back the fight reviews. We used to do fight reviews on this podcast. I think we did 2 of them. I think we did Strickland versus DDP 1, and I think we did O'Malley versus Piotr Jan.
Yeah.
I think those were the 2 fight reviews that we've done on the channel. We haven't done one in like a year almost.
Yeah.
So maybe we got to bring back the fight review. It'll have to be on a week that we don't really have anything going on. So next time there's not a fight night or anything, expect us to do a fight review on Jon Jones versus Dominic Reyes.
Yeah.
Where we basically just sit here, watch the fight, and score it as we go. So I can tell him that Dominic Reyes won the first 3 rounds. We're not even going to have to do the whole thing. All we have to do is watch the first 3 rounds. Because those are the 3 that Dominic Reyes won. So then there's no point of watching the last 2. Because I clearly know that Jon Jones beat the shit out of him in the last 2. I mean, if we go by the metrics that I usually use, so obviously the rules are you score the fight based round by round, so I know that. But sometimes with Umar versus Merab, Umar landed more damage in the first 2 rounds than Merab landed in the last 3. Yeah, Merab won because he won on points for the scorecards, but Umar landed more damage in the fight.
Yeah.
I think the same way about Jones versus Dominic Reyes. Yeah. Jones landed more damage in the last 2 rounds than Reyes landed in the first 3.
And he still had the pressure within the first 3.
But that doesn't matter because Dominic Reyes won the first 3 rounds.
But he did more damage in those last 2 that won him the fight.
But that's not how it works. You go by round. So the judges didn't know the last 2 rounds by the time the 3rd round ended. So they should have all judged it. Dominic Reyes 1, 2, 3. They would have had no clue that Jones was about to beat the shit out of him in the next 2.
Yeah.
So,
because they're watching it live.
They watched the first 3 rounds. Dominic Reyes clearly won the first 3, which means he should have won the fight. Because the last 2 don't matter anymore if Dominic Reyes won the first 3.
But those last 2...
It doesn't matter. All right.
Because the last 2 changes one of those first 3 into a swing round.
That's not how it works. You can't retroactively go back and change a round.
No, I'm thinking like of the judges thinking at that time.
I hope you never become a judge.
I would become the best judge.
I think I should cancel this podcast just so that you have no shot at ever working for the UFC.
Why?
Because I feel like this is your best shot at working for the UFC. So I feel like if I shut this whole thing down right now, you'll never get the chance to work for them. So that'd be great for me.
The UFC probably would hire me as a ref or a judge.
It wouldn't even be the UFC that would hire you. It would be like the athletic commission of whatever state.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe move to Nevada. You'll be out of my hairs.
No, I'll do every main event in the Prudential Center.
No. I hate that. I would hate that. Yeah. I'd never go to a UFC fight. Alright, I think we can go in and review this card for Jamal Hill versus Khalil Roundtree. Nazim Sadikov versus Nicholas Moda. If you haven't seen the fight, go watch it. They threw like 200 punches at each other in 2 rounds. It was insane. The first round, they were swanging on each other. They were not letting up the entire first round. And Sadikov was landing some really clean combinations. Mm-hmm. Nicholas Malda was more landing like scrappy-do kind of combinations, like just getting in there and just throwing. He wasn't being very technical about it, and I think that's what led to him losing the fight. He did drop Nazim in the first round, but then Nazim started picking it up. He started landing good combinations. It was probably fight of the year so far, and it only lasted a round and a half, so almost 2 rounds. It was a great fight. Go watch it if you haven't watched it. There's not really much else to talk about. It was a lightweight fight. Lightweight is kind of packed, so that no matter what, they're going to have to fight unranked guys still, so there's really not, like, great fight, but you're still going to have to make it through the next 10 guys outside of the top 15, because that's how competitive this division
next 10 guys are been those 10 guys for the longest.
Those next 10 guys have been in the rankings over the past 5 years. They've been in and out of the rankings. We're talking guys like Bobby Green and stuff like that. Guys that have beaten some of the top guys in the division. So you're going to have to, there's a lot of things you're going to have to do. I think Mauricio Rufy is still not in the top 15.
Yeah.
We're talking these are killers that are in this division that are not ranked right now. Because
even if you get past Bobby Green, you might got to get past Michael Chandler. Then after that, you might got to get past Dustin Poirier.
Yeah. There's guys outside of the division like Ludovic Klein, who just lost to Gamrot, who's still right up there.
Rafael Fitzayev.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of guys that you're going to have to get through. This is not a star-making performance yet. It was a star-making performance for your fight ability, but not for your ability to make it higher up in the rankings. There was nothing special about this that made me think that either of these guys could perform at that level at the higher ranks of the division.
Yeah.
But it was a good fight from two not ranked guys. Urabai missed weight, and he got the submission in the first round. I'm not really too happy about that. It's whatever. Curtis Blades, I think the guy he's fighting, that he fought, Kuniev, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce his name. He's ranked now 15th off of a loss. But it was a split decision loss. I thought he beat him. When that fight ended, I watched the whole fight. When that fight ended, I said, that is a really close fight. I think I'd go with Kuniev. I thought Curtis Blades won the first, and I thought Kuniev won the second and the third. Third round, super close. I'd definitely give Kuniev the second round. Yeah, definitely Curtis the first. That third round, Curtis wasn't really able to get it to the ground. That's why I kind of swayed more to Kuniev. Because I feel like if the wrestler doesn't get it to the ground, I don't see how they won the round, you know?
Yeah.
I'd probably have to rewatch the fight again to really get a good... it was boring, kind of. It was pretty boring, so I didn't really feel like rewatching it.
You would have to score wrestling on attempts for a submission and ground and pound.
He didn't have any of that in the third round. They were purely kickboxing. Curtis maybe grinded up against the cage a little bit, but it really wasn't anything that special from Curtis Blades in this fight. Kuniev is now ranked 15th in the division off of a loss, but it was a loss to the number 3 guy, a split decision to like the number 3 guy in the division.
Yeah.
So I don't mind it. A little bit more to talk about. We'll get into it in a minute. We got a lot to talk about. We'll get into the John Jones stuff in a minute. I'm sure that we want to talk about that. After we're done with reviewing Jamal Hill versus Khalil, before we do our predictions, we're going to talk a little bit about John Jones, okay? All right, so stick with us. Moving up, Fiziev versus Ignacio Bahamondes. Fiziev picked up the decision win. Ignacio threw kicks and spinning kicks at the guy who's known for dodging kicks like he's in the Matrix.
Yeah.
So I don't know why Ignacio went out there with that game plan. I know that's kind of always his game plan. He has like a bunch of kick knockouts. The spinning wheel kick on I think his name is Robertson or something Robertson. Yeah, something Robertson. He got that knockout. He got a head kick on someone else. So I know it's his game plan usually, but doing it on literally the Matrix guy, Fiziev, who does like the, you know, like when Fiziev gets kicked at and he does he like leans back and like it just goes by his face. Like he's really good at that. Why would you make your entire strategy about kicking him in the head? It's not going to work. So Fiziev won. It was a good fight. It looked like two guys that are really good, like really skilled at kickboxing, fighting each other. Fiziev got the grappling in there. Yeah, Fiziev won. I mean, it puts him
around it.
Yeah, it puts him in a good position to fight someone high up in the rankings. Maybe a rematch with Gamrot because last time it ended in injury. They're both now coming off wins against not ranked opponents. I think Ignacio's low ranked, so it really doesn't count. So yeah, maybe run back Fiziev versus Gamrot since that fight ended in injury last time. Or maybe Fiziev versus Dan Hooker. That'd be a fun fight. Max Holloway's got Poirier lined up in a couple weeks. And maybe if he loses to Poirier.
Yeah.
But I really hope he doesn't lose to Poirier. I really hope he wins. All right. Jamal Hill versus Khalil Roundtree. Kind of a snoozer. Khalil did what he does. He outpointed him. He beat him up. I mean, he dropped him a couple times. I think he dropped him in like the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round.
Jamal Hill either has to move up to heavyweight or has to drop down to middleweight.
I was about to say that. Jamal looks... I'm going to say this as a not athlete. Jamal looks a little flabby out there. I know it's probably hard to get down to middleweight. That's an extra 20 pounds.
He looked a lot more in shape before his injury.
Yeah. He definitely I think he's in line for a move. It's either that or he's going to fight Dominic Reyes. That probably excites you. But I think that's the only fight left for him in the division right now. I don't think anything else really makes sense. I mean, you could do Jan Blachowicz, but that doesn't really make too much sense. I mean, you could do it. They're both coming off of losses now, so you could. But I think Jamal Hill versus Dominic Reyes, like someone fighting up the rankings versus someone fighting down the rankings, opposed from two guys fighting down. I think that makes more sense. Other than that, Jamal needs to move down to middleweight, I feel like. I think he'd actually be way more effective at middleweight.
I think he would, the power would translate, and then he would be a lot more in shape.
Yeah.
And he's coming off a bigger frame.
Yeah, and his footwork in this was his downfall because Khalil just kept on kicking at the legs.
He's just so flat-footed.
He's so flat-footed. So every time Khalil tried to, he would land a leg kick.
Yeah.
And it took Jamal out in the first round. Jamal's legs were done after the first round. I don't know why Jamal was so surprised when the decision was read, because he was like 50-45. Like, what? I didn't win a single round? He was like, what? I was like, yeah, bro, you didn't win a single round. I watched the whole thing. Not a single one. I mean, in the first round, he got his leg beat up. In the second round, he got his leg beat up. In the third round, he got dropped. In the fourth round, he got dropped. And then the fifth round, Khalil just kind of stayed on the outside and point fought him, and Jamal didn't do anything. So how did you win any of those rounds? I don't really see it.
You know, out of camp, he walks around at 240, 250.
Yeah, he needs to get that down. He needs to go down. He can't be doing that anymore. You just lost to the smaller fighter. Like, Khalil Roundtree is like 5 inches shorter, 5-inch reach disadvantage. He probably walks around a lot lighter. He probably walks around 220. So I don't know, man. I think Jamal Hill needs to either move down or needs to, I don't know, work on your footwork, I guess, because it's not working at light heavyweight anymore.
Yeah.
But Khalil Roundtree, where does he go from here? I've been hearing a lot of talks about him versus Yuri Prochazka. I think him versus Carlos Olberg makes more sense.
Nah, Yuri Prochazka.
Prochazka?
Carlos Olberg, it makes sense, but we're talking pay-per-view numbers. Him and Yuri would do some good numbers.
I think so, too. I think if you did that as the co-main to Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira 2, winners fight each other, makes a lot of sense. I mean, I wouldn't hate seeing Khalil versus Alex Pereira again.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate seeing Khalil versus Ankalaev. I would hate seeing Yuri versus Alex for a third time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate seeing Yuri versus Ankalaev. So the only outcome where I'd be disappointed is if Yuri beats Khalil and Alex beats Ankalaev. Then I'd be like, okay, get Carlos Olberg in there. Give Carlos Olberg the title shot instead of Yuri. But I kind of think Khalil Roundtree wins that fight against Yuri. A little bit. Something's telling me in my brain that Khalil would beat Yuri. I think he's a lot more technical. I think Yuri, with his like weird style, I don't think he'd be able to get to Khalil.
I think after that fight with Pereira, he showed okay, I'm only this far from championship levels. I think he's leveled up from that. Yeah. I think especially after fighting Jamal Hill, dude, he's beating, that's a former champion. He just beat a former champion. I mean, the dude who beat Glover Teixeira, I mean, granted he was old, but I mean, I feel like Khalil's definitely on his upcome. But
also, I mean, styles make fights, obviously, but Yuri did knock out Jamal Hill in the third round, and Khalil couldn't do that in 5. Styles make fights. One was a 3-round fight, one was a 5-round fight. So there's a lot going on there, but I mean, I don't know. I think Khalil might have the advantage over Yuri Prochazka, and I really want to see that fight. I just think in my brain it makes more sense to do him versus Carlos Olberg, and Yuri waits for the next title fight. But I don't know. They could do whatever they want. I don't know when Yuri's done with his studying. So we'll see how the timeline lays out.
Man, Jamal Hill ain't been the same since after his fight with Alex Pereira. He pressed Alex Pereira at a gym, right? He was getting angry or whatever, and Alex Pereira just threw gloves at him let's just get in the ring.
Yeah,
there's a ring right here,
and
dude.
He didn't. He wimped out. Can't be doing stuff like that.
Especially after he just knocked you out.
Yeah, if you're gonna call him out, you got to step back in the ring with him. Yeah, that's it. That was it for that card.
Yeah.
It was a good show, but I mean, some of the fights were disappointing. Some of them were more exciting. It's what you get on UFC cards. But now I would like to talk a little bit about our guy, the GOAT, John Bones Jones, has retired from the UFC. He has vacated his heavyweight title, and I told you he wasn't going to fight Tom Aspinall because he's scared as hell to lose that undefeated record of his. He doesn't want to fight Tom Aspinall because he's afraid Tom will knock him out, and then he'll have to retire, as not the undisputed champ and not undefeated.
Fair. I think the only thing that saves Jon Jones in this moment is if they set up a fight between Tom and Ciryl. If that fight goes past the second round, then we could be like, okay.
No.
Yes.
I don't think so because, I mean, Ciryl Gane is a better striker than Jon Jones. So if it stays on the feet the entire time, then we could just say, well, Ciryl Gane is taking these shots. He's getting out of the way. He's got good footwork and good movement, good head movement. So he could avoid shots like that for 2 rounds, 3 rounds. Jon Jones probably couldn't avoid those shots for that long because his head movement, his footwork is just not as good as Ciryl Gane. His wrestling is much better, and we saw that. He took him down and choked him out very quickly. But would he be able to take down and choke out Tom Aspinall the same way? That question will never be answered now.
I think Jon Jones at 235, maybe a little bit lighter. I think he could beat Tom Aspinall with speed.
Well, that's the thing. He will never let you find that out, and you should be mad at him about that. You should be mad that we're never going to see that fight. You should be mad at Jon Jones for retiring. He told Dana, I'll do the fight. He's been telling him for months he'll do the fight, and then apparently he just backed out one day. He just decided, you know what, I give up. I quit.
I'm more mad about him and Francis not fighting.
And all respect to Jon Jones for what he's done in his UFC career. No respect to Jon Jones for what he's done outside of the UFC. I heard he's gotten into another hit and run in New Mexico or something like that, allegedly. Mm-hmm. The day he retired, I heard that rumor had gone out, and Dana talked a little bit about it, that might be the reason why he retired, is because he had another incident outside of fighting.
Oh, yeah, he did, yeah.
It's like, dude, I can respect what you do inside of the cage other than the steroids, but outside of the cage, this guy just can't get it together. What is up with him? Well, you're the greatest of all time. There's no need for you to be going out and doing shit like this. Just be the GOAT. Just walk around and be loved by the fans. Why do you have to be so self-destructive? Like, I'd love to meet Jon Jones, and I wouldn't say any of this to his face, obviously, because I still think that he's the greatest fighter of all time, and I respect that. But at the same time, it's so odd to think that this guy has the GOAT moniker slapped on him while he has so much stuff holding him back. Steroids, hit and runs, ducking fights, just
charges.
Getting arrested, charges, drugs, alcohol.
And he's still the GOAT.
Yeah, it's just like, I hate having to call him the GOAT because of how much stuff has gone on outside of the cage.
Beating people up on cocaine, stuff like that.
It's crazy, dude. And all respect to what he's done inside of the cage, no respect to what he's done outside of the cage. I mean, I know that he's probably done some good things for people, like maybe Make-A-Wish stuff, maybe donating to charity. That's fine. But everything else, you're a shitty person, dude. I mean, you've done a lot of shitty things, and now that he's retired, he expects everyone to get down on their hands and knees and praise him.
Yeah.
And we will one day. We're going to come back to him in like 5 years, and we're going to be like, okay, Jon Jones is the GOAT. We're going to forget all about this stuff, and he's just going to sit there on that Mount Rushmore, and we're never going to talk about it again. It's the same thing that happens with anyone that has a scandal behind them. I mean, eventually you forget, and then you remember what they did in the cage, and then you go, whatever.
Imagine going to jail, you see Jon Jones.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you're the greatest fighter of all time. Why are you here?
Exactly. You have so much money. You have so much going on in your life. You have a wife. You have kids. You got all that going on, and you still manage to do shit like this. I don't know. I think that when he's outside of fight camp, I think that his brain just goes crazy. And I think that's why he should have taken the fight with Tom Aspinall, is because he could have kept his mind on track. He could have kept his brain going, focused on something, rather than whenever he's not focused on something, he self-destructs. And now he's going to have retirement, which means he's not going to be focused on anything. I think he's going to self-destruct more. Honestly.
Because that urge to fight's always going to be there.
And like I said, all respect to what he's done in the cage, but I mean, Tom Aspinall is undisputed champion now. No more wasting time. Get the Ciryl Gane fight booked. Get the Jahilton Almeida fight booked. Just Start letting Tom be active. Let him be the real heavyweight champion, like he should have always been. Because Tom Aspinall is the best fighter in the world right now at heavyweight.
Definitely.
So, we did our rankings last week, our pound for pound rankings. We both already have to rechange our pound for pound rankings because now Jon Jones is retired. He's no longer on that list. Can you finally say that Islam Makhachev is the pound for pound greatest fighter in the world?
No.
No? Then who is now?
Dricus du Plessis.
Oh my god, dude. Not even like Marab? No? Really? What has Dricus done to make you think that he's the greatest pound for pound fighter in the world?
Finished opponent, whether it's between knocking them out or
Islam's done that too. Islam's done that too. Islam submitted Charles Oliveira, knocked out Volkanovski, decisioned Volkanovski. He submissioned Poirier, and he submitted
championship aura.
Who?
DDP.
So does Islam. You think Islam doesn't have aura? Islam has like the most aura in the UFC right now.
Nah,
he's got 15 fight UFC unbeaten streak.
Not enough.
He's got the tied for second most all-time win streak.
Who has the most?
Anderson Silva was 16, and then Usman and Islam both have 15.
Win streak?
Win streak. That's aura. If he wins one more fight, he's tied for the longest win streak of all time, with one more fight. Come on, he's the pound for pound number one.
Who has the longest championship win streak?
I think George St. Pierre or Demetrius Johnson. It's not Jon Jones because he lost his title halfway through his win streak and then he had to win it back. Jon Jones has the most title fight wins, and he has the most...
He has the most title fight wins?
Yeah, Jon Jones has the most title fight wins. But those are not in a row.
Okay.
So, we're talking Demetrius Johnson, we're talking George St. Pierre for longest consecutive title fight win streak. I think Valentino would have been placed like third in there, maybe. Amanda Nunes probably fourth, something like that. Yeah, but I don't really have much else to say about Jon Jones. Enjoy retirement. Try not to self-destruct. And, I don't know. Let's hope Francis Ngannou gets signed back to the UFC one day so we can see Francis Ngannou versus Tom Aspinall.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool. But I don't think it's going to happen because Dana White doesn't seem too pleased with that idea.
Oh, no, not at all.
I also feel like if Francis Ngannou does get signed back to the UFC, we're going to be hearing a lot about Jon Jones. Because Jon Jones is probably going to want to come back to the UFC and fight Francis Ngannou. I think that'll actually happen. If Francis gets signed back, I think we're going to hear a call from Jon Jones saying, let me fight him. Like do Tom versus Francis. If Francis wins, I want to fight Francis. If Tom wins, I'm going to stay retired. Because he's scared shitless of Tom Aspinall. And that's all I have to say. Jon Jones ran away. That's crazy. The GOAT ran from someone.
We'll see.
We won't see. We won't see Jon Jones ever again because he's retired.
John would rather lose to Francis than lose to Tom.
All right, it is prediction time. We are going to do the entirety of UFC 317. We are going to predict, and then I've got my segment that I want to do with you. It's one last little thing. It'll be a minute. All right. First up, we have Chris Irwit versus Jackson McVee. Chris is 7-0 and Jackson is 6-0. So this is it's a middleweight fight. This is a pretty close one. So it's either CE or JM. 3, 2, 1. I got Chris. You got Jackson. All right. Next up we've got. I don't remember how to say this guy's last name. I remember he either fought Derek Lewis or he was lined up to fight Derek Lewis at one point. Denise, Jahanta Denise. He's 8-1 versus Alvin Hines. Denise is 8-1 and then Alvin is 7-0. So it's either JD or AH. JD is 8-1. AH is 7-0. 3, 2, 1. I went with Denise. Oh, and you went with Alvin. Okay. Nico Price versus Jacoby Smith. Nico Price is 16-8-0, and Jacoby Smith is 10-0. So Nico Price has the experience. Smith has the youth. All right. 3, 2, 1. Jacoby Smith. We both got Jacoby Smith. All right. Moving up to the prelims. We have... Give me 1 second. Okay, we've got Terrence McKinney making his return to the octagon against Vyacheslav Borchev. Terrence McKinney is 16-7. Vyacheslav is 8-5. So it's either TM or VB. 3, 2, 1. Terrence McKinney. We both got Terrence McKinney.
Who's the other dude?
Vyacheslav Borchev. He got beat by Chase Hooper in his last fight, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I hope Terrence McKinney can get back up on that horse. All right, Valentine Araujo. I don't know how you'd pronounce her first name. Araujo versus Tracy Cortez. Araujo is 13-6. Tracy Cortez is 11-2. Pretty sure Cortez's last fight was against Rose. Maybe she won one in between then, but I'm pretty sure that her last fight was losing to Rose. It was when she got her eyelash knocked off. That was funny. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Wait.
Oh, VA or TC. Tracy Cortez is TC. And then Araujo is VA. 3, 2, 1. Tracy Cortez, and you got Araujo. Okay. Next up, we've got Hyder Emil, I think it's how you pronounce it, versus Joe Delgado. So Hyder is 11-0, and Delgado is 9-1. 3, 2, 1. I went with Hyder, and you went with Joe. Okay. Next up, we have finally people that I've heard of both names. Well, I heard of Terrence McKinney and Vyacheslav Borchev and most of these people, but people that actually matter at this point now. Not saying anyone else doesn't matter, but these guys are the ones who really matter now. Jack Hermansson versus Gregory Rodriguez. Jack Hermansson making his long-anticipated return to the octagon after beating Joe Pyfer last year. Gregory Rodriguez his last loss was to Jared Cannonier in a pretty entertaining fight. Pretty sure that was fight of the month when that took place. So either Jack Hermansson or Gregory Rodriguez. 3, 2, 1. Jack Hermansson. We both took Jack Hermansson. All right. I think he's going to ground and pound him to a victory. I think it'll be like a TKO in the second round.
All my prelims are going to hit.
All right. Paulo Costa and Roman Kapilov is off. That is no longer happening. I hate that. When is Paulo Costa just going to fight again? We've got Peyton Talbot and Felipe Lima moving up to the main card to replace it. So we've got Peyton Talbot 9-1 and Felipe Lima is 14-1. 3, 2, 1. I've got Peyton Talbot. We both took Peyton Talbot, but this Felipe Lima kid, I've seen him fight. He's pretty good. 14-1 is a great record. I just think Peyton Talbot's going to catch him with something. I know that he can. Next up, we've got Beneil Dariush versus Moicano. The rescheduling of the fight that was supposed to happen at 3:11. Moicano ended up taking the place of Arman Sharukian when he pulled out against Islam Makhachev. This was the fight that was supposed to happen for Moicano on the night, and now it is finally going to happen. As long as there's no pullout in... Well, actually, no. Arman Sharukian is the backup fighter for the main event. So this fight will happen, Beneil versus Moicano. There will be no moving Moicano back up into a title fight again. Arman Sharukian is the backup fighter for Ilya versus Oliveira. So, Beneil versus Moicano.
I mean, he knocked down Islam.
No, he didn't. That was a slip.
No, he knocked him down.
It was a slip. All right. Man, this is a tough one. They're both very similar fighters. 3, 2, 1. He went with Money Moicano. I went with Beneil Dariush. I'm not confident in my pick at all. Moicano has been looking like a world killer, but I think Beneil could probably get him to the ground and submit him, maybe.
Dude, he knocked down Islam. How could you say...
He's not... He didn't. Because he didn't. You can't take that as a fact. He didn't.
He did. He had Islam shook.
Whatever. All right. Now, number one contendership fight to the next fight that we're going to talk about. We've got Brandon Royval versus Joshua Van. Winner takes on the winner of the next fight. Yeah, I'm going with my boy. I'm going to rock my boy until the end of time. Joshua Van. Ooh, you went with Brandon Royval. All right. I've seen Brandon Royval get pieced up by Matt Schnell. So if he could get pieced up by Matt Schnell, he could get pieced up by Joshua Van. Brandon Royval won the fight against Matt Schnell, but he did get dropped. So I think Joshua Van could drop him too. Yeah, Joshua Van, I think he's going to knock him out. I love Joshua Van, one of my favorite fighters, top 6. And yeah, I think that he's going to go on to fight the winner of the next fight, Alexandre Pantoja versus Kai Kara France.
That's happening?
Yeah, that's going to be the co-main event. That's happening right after Van versus Royval. So we've got Pantoja versus Kai Kara France. Yeah, I mean, I really hope you're not going to go with KKF, but here we go. 3, 2, 1... Alejandro Pantoja. Yeah, we both picked Pantoja. I think it's going to be Pantoja versus Joshua Van next. And we'll predict that when it comes. But, I mean, my boy Van. I'm going to keep on rocking with my boy Van. All right, yeah, so Pantoja's winning the co-main event. Now it is time for our main event of the evening. We have Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. Did you know that Charles Oliveira's last name is not Oliveira?
What is it?
It's Da Silva.
That makes more sense. Oliveira. I think Oliveira means something.
Yeah. But it's not his last name. His full name, I think, is Charles Oliveira da Silva.
Da Silva sounds more Brazilian.
Yeah. I mean, Oliveira sounds pretty Brazilian too, but I don't know. But all right, we'll write it down first, and then we'll talk about what we think is going to happen. I think I already know who you're going to pick, but... All right, Ilia Topuria or Charles Oliveira. 3.
Hold on. You gotta...
Oh, okay, you're erasing stuff, so you're not confident. Are you ready? Oh, come on. Come on, dude. We've seen him get touched up so many times. Come on, dude. You think Ilia's not going to follow him to the ground like Islam did? Come on, man. Come on. Come on. Come on. What are you doing all this erasing for? We both know Oliveira's getting knocked out. Come on. He's been dropped by Poirier.
What are their records?
Oh, man. Ilia is 16-0 and Oliveira is 35-10. I know Ilia's moving up in weight. I know that there's going to be some... But, I mean, Volk looked fine when he moved up and fought Islam. And Ilia's the same size as Volk. So you can't really... I've seen the pictures of Ilia next to... I think we already know who I'm picking. I'm picking Ilia Topuria.
Charles Oliveira.
You're picking Charles Oliveira. So, I know we've all seen the picture of Ilia Topuria standing next to Rojas Jr.
Yeah.
And Rojas looks bigger than him, even though now he's 2 weight divisions lower. I know, but Ilia Topuria is the same size as Volkanovski, and Volkanovski looked absolutely fine at lightweight fighting Islam Makhachev.
Mind you, Volkanovski used to be 220 something.
Yeah, but Ilia Topuria is so similar size to him now. They're similar sizes, and Ilia Topuria's fought at lightweight. I know he got dropped, but he also knocked the guy out. And I don't think Oliveira's striking is as good as Jai Herbert's. I'm sorry, I just don't. I don't know, man. Oliveira has been put down, not knocked out, and he did end up going on to win these fights, but he's been put down by Michael Chandler, I think twice, in the first fight and the second fight. He's been put down by Poirier. He's been put down by Gaethje 3 times. He was put down by Islam. It's just, man, if Ilia Topuria lands on him, so out of all those fights that I just mentioned, the one fight Oliveira lost was to Islam. And it was because Islam got on top of him after dropping him. If Ilia Topuria drops Oliveira, he's going to the ground. He's not going to wait like Gaethje and Poirier and Chandler did and tell him to get back up. He's gonna follow him to the ground.
Nah, he's gonna wait.
No, he's not. He's not going to tell him to get back up.
Because Charles Oliveira's he's too good at that jiu-jitsu.
No. Do you remember what Ilia Topuria did to Ryan Hall?
Not enough.
He followed him to the ground after he rocked him. He got on top of him, and he ground and pound, and he finished him. I think that's going to happen to Oliveira. I think Ilia Topuria is going to land the first combination he throws. I think Oliveira is going to drop to his back. Ilia is going to get on top of him, and he's going to ground and pound him, and he's going to win within, like, a minute. I think Ilia Topuria's got this in the bag in a minute. And I might be wrong. Oliveira might submit him. He might drop him. He might knock him out. And I'll eat my own words when that happens.
If Ilia Topuria loses, where does he go from here?
I don't know. Maybe he moves back down to featherweight. Maybe he goes back down to featherweight, fights Alexander Volkanovski again. Welterweight. No. If he loses at lightweight, he has no shot at welterweight. Come on. But what I was saying was, like, Ilia Topuria, if he lands on Oliveira, Oliveira's going down. There's no way Oliveira takes a punch from Ilia Topuria. I think we can both agree. If Ilia lands clean, Oliveira's going to the ground.
No.
Because, no? We've seen him drop by Gaethje, Poirier, Chandler, Islam.
Topuria's he's too, like,
what?
Stuck on that lead leg.
Ilia Topuria's knocked out Max Holloway. The guy who's never been dropped in his UFC career. He knocked him out.
He's washed.
He knocked out Volkanovski.
Washed.
He knocked down Josh Emmett like 3 times.
Washed.
He knocked out Ryan Hall. He knocked out Bryce Mitchell. He's knocked out everyone.
Who are those guys?
Dude, okay, come on. You gotta admit, the knockout over Max Holloway was fucking impressive. Because that Max Holloway had never been dropped before.
We knew
and then
it was
he
gonna
knocked
happen.
him out cold.
Nah, man.
Come on, dude. If Ilia Topuria lands on Oliveira, Oliveira's going to land on his back. How do you say that? Oliveira has been dropped in every single fight he's taken part in. I'm not going to let you slide on this one.
We're not.
A lot of your takes are casual. This one's ridiculous. I'm not saying will Ilia Topuria land on Oliveira. There you could say, no, Ilia's not going to land on Oliveira. But you have to admit, if Ilia Topuria hits Oliveira in the jaw with one of his fists, Oliveira's going to the ground. He's not going to stand with him.
No. I can't agree with that. I can't agree.
Okay, tell me why you think that. Tell me what fight makes you think that.
Oliveira has gotten dropped in fights and came back and won those same fights.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's going to end up on the ground at one point in this fight.
I don't think he'll even end up on the ground once.
So if Ilia lands, you think Oliveira's going to take that punch?
Yes.
Even though he's never, ever, ever once in any fight proved that he could take a punch?
Yes.
You think this will be the one fight out of every fight he's been in? He's been dropped by Poirier, dropped by Gaethje, dropped by Chandler, dropped by Islam. You think this will be the fight where he takes a good clean right?
This is the fight where he claims his throne back, gets the belt back.
I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing that. We could argue that afterwards. I'm arguing, will Oliveira take a punch to the face and not end up on the ground?
Yes.
Why do you think that when he's never proven to do that?
Because every so often when he comes back and wins the belt, he changes. He changes, man. He's a different breed now. You
think with age, after taking all those punches, his chin has gotten better? Even though he's been dropped by Islam, dropped by Chandler, dropped by Gaethje, dropped by Poirier, you think his chin is better now?
Yes.
Crazy. Casual. I think we can all agree that Oliveira, if Ilia lands on Oliveira's chin, Oliveira's going to the ground. And then, in my opinion, Ilia's going to follow him to the ground and just ground and pound him and win. Because Oliveira is not going to be able to submit Ilia within like 10 seconds on the ground. Ilia is going to rock him, get on top, ground and pound, and then the ref's going to pull him off. Because Oliveira has no fight IQ. He goes to the ground off punches that barely hit him, expecting guys to follow him to the ground, then guys let him back up. Ilia Topuria is not going to let him back up. Ilia Topuria is going to follow him to the ground, just like he did to Ryan Hall. Just like he did to everyone. He's going to follow him. He's not going to say, oh, get back up, come back up. No, he's going to follow him. He's going to finish the fight. It's going to be nice and easy. I'm telling you, dude, don't get your hopes up with this Charles Oliveira guy. He's chinny. Oliveira is very, very chinny. And Ilia Topuria is the hardest hitting guy, maybe pound for pound, in the UFC today. Do you disagree with that statement? Him and Tom Aspinall are pound for pound the hardest hitting fighters in the UFC right now.
I can't give a statement till the fight's over.
That's the entire point of this podcast, is to predict this stuff.
No, I predict Charles Oliveira knocks out Ilia Topuria.
Wrong. You think he's going to knock out Ilia?
Yeah, I got him by KO.
Hands or feet? Do you think he's going to kick him or punch him?
Hands.
You think he's going to knock him out with his fists? He's going to box him up? You're insane. All right. Well, I my throat's drying out arguing about this. So, yeah. All right. I think that's it. We've got our predictions down. We'll see who wins. The winner gets this belt. You do have your battle for the big briefcase. So if these predictions aren't going your way by halfway through, you could always cash that in, win the title with that. Yeah. All right. I think I want to do our one last segment and then call it a day because I got to get to work. All right. Are you ready for this segment? Are these nicknames real or fake? We're doing another one of these, Elijah. All right. The polar bear.
Real.
Real? Do you know who it is?
No.
Sergey Spivak. It is real. You've finally gotten one of these right, Elijah. No Mercy.
Real.
Who is it?
Don't know.
Piotr Yan. Come on, you should have known that one. God of Thunder.
Davis Figueiredo.
No. It is a fake nickname. Davis Figueiredo's nickname is Deuce de Guejas. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. I'm not Portuguese. Or I don't speak Portuguese. But that means God of War. I said God of Thunder. And then the last one, Magic.
Real.
Real? Do you know who it is?
No.
Marlon Moraes. But you did go 3 for 4 on this one, which is a lot better than you did last time going 0 for 4. So, good job, Elijah. I think that's it for the podcast. If you guys have watched this far, please comment anything. We'll read your comment. We'll read your name. We'll talk about your comment. Just comment anything. Like, share, subscribe. Do you have anything else you want to talk about, Elijah, before we have to go?
John Jones, still the GOAT.
I disagree because he's retired. How could you claim that a guy who doesn't fight is retired or is the GOAT?
What do you mean? That's
he doesn't fight anymore. How is he the GOAT?
John Jones, the GOAT.
Well,
He's the greatest fighter of all time.
He was the greatest fighter of all time.
You have to understand that John Jones, just because he says he's done, doesn't mean he's done.
He is done. He's done. I mean, what do you think he's going to do? Go to the PFL? He still has fights under his contract with the UFC, so he can't go anywhere else.
Yes, he can.
He's not allowed to. If you retire under UFC contract, you're not allowed to go to another promotion. You have to finish out your fights with the UFC if you come back out of retirement. So he's not allowed to go to the PFL. He's not allowed to go to ONE. He can't go anywhere else. He's stuck. If he wants to come back out of retirement, he's going to have to fight Tom Aspinall.
If he goes to ONE or PFL, that's going to be crazy.
But he can't. He's not allowed to. He's still under contract with the UFC, which means he has to finish out his fights with the UFC. You get a choice. You can retire, but if you decide to come out of retirement, you have to finish out your fights with the contract you're on.
Unless he's let go.
Yeah, but Dana's not going to do that. He didn't let go of Amanda Nunes after she retired. She's still under contract.
True.
So, all right, I think that's it. Thank you, Elijah, for coming. This was fun. Bow to your champion, please. That's not a bow. That's a briefcase. You're supposed to, namaste. I guess you're not. I guess you have no respect for your champion. And I have no respect for that because you're not going to cash it in anytime soon. Thank you guys for watching the Hardcore and the Casual podcast. That has been Elijah. I have been your host, Justin. And like, share, subscribe, and comment, please. We'll read it out. We'll read your name. And thank you guys for watching. Peace out. MMA fans, if you want more content like this, please click right here. Go under playlists and check out all the variety we have to offer. And if you want a suggestion on where to start, click on this video right here. If you want to be up to date or communicate with us on any of our social media platforms, check out That Casual HQ. And we will see you all soon. Stay casual.